Let's get a few things out of the way right away. One, sorry that I've been gone so long. Two, today we're going to be making brownies while talking about Marvel, because I haven't talked about them since Endgame, I think. And boy, oh howdy, do we have a lot to talk about now. So this isn't exactly like theory crafting or anything like that. I just kind of want to talk about an interesting pattern that I'm seeing with Marvel. So basically all this started because I saw a TikTok talking about how Marvel series are a little bit repetitive. I'll just throw the TikTok up there because she did it way better than I could.
All right, nerds, this is it. Ideas for Phase 4, go! I've come up with something I think you're really gonna love. I say we go with bi-panic, villain but not a villain, and a genuine attempt at diversity with a little Asian tokenism just for old time's sake. Amazing, I love it, what's next? I think it would be a really cool idea if we went with bi-panic, villain but not a villain, genuine attempt at diversity with a little Asian tokenism just for old time's sake. Amazing, I love it, moving on. Okay, just an idea, take it or leave it. Bi-panic, villain but not a villain, and a genuine attempt at diversity with a little Asian tokenism just for old time's sake. These all sound so great, but how do we keep things fresh and interesting without falling into a pattern? We could try Wednesdays. Wednesdays! We've done it!
But that got me thinking about what else Marvel is doing right now that's a little bit repetitive. And what I noticed is that all the content that we've gotten from them so far in 2021 has been saying that governing authorities are evil, especially mixed with the villain, not a villain trope that they've been going for. Like, Wanda isn't a villain for enslaving an entire town for who knows how long against their will and hurting them mentally and physically in the process. It's a sword that just wants their weapon back. Sam and Bucky aren't evil, even though they're literally vigilantes going against the law several times. It's the American government that's evil, and all of the racism behind it. In Loki, it's not the god of mischief who's caused thousands upon thousands of deaths over thousands of years. No, it's the TVA. And even in Black Widow, we're just supposed to accept that there are now who knows how many trained killers out there that could realistically do anything that they wanted. The problem is that there was a person controlling them. Now, for the record, I tend to lean on Marvel's side with most of these. I do agree on most of these cases that the corporation or the government or whatever, the big power up above, is usually in the wrong in these stories. Partially because it's framed that way, but partially because this isn't a new concept. You guys might not know this because I don't talk about it a lot, but I'm a little bit of a lit nerd. And I can find examples of books saying that corporations or that the government is bad from a lot of places. Quickly listing off some famous ones: 1984, Harrison Bergson, I'm late. Brave New World, Unwound, even Hunger Games. Marvel isn't doing anything new here. The oldest one that I mentioned, which is Brave New World, was written in 1931. Now, since it's been popular for so long, you'd have to assume that there has to be something exciting, interesting, or scary about the concept of an overruling government. And that's really what separates good dystopian works from bad ones. The fact that the good ones mirror real life things that the government is actually doing. In 1984, part of the reason it was scary is because it used real government surveillance tactics. Oh, this isn't open, oh my. In Brave New World, it showed how the government would provide and the citizens would greatly consume drugs, either recreational or, as I'd like to interpret it, medication, and basically consume anything the government gave them so they didn't have to face how terrible their world really was, which is huge now with recreational drug use and the over-medication of like teens. Harrison Bergson is scary because of how humans can take stuff too far and insist the government to make changes to them that they really don't need and probably shouldn't have. Hunger Games is scary because it shows an ultra-capitalistic system, one that doesn't really care about citizens and distracts them with cheap entertainment. Unwound is absolutely terrifying because it shows the hypocrisy of the government caring very much about unborn children but not giving a single shit about them once they're alive. Also mixed with the non-autonomy that teens have in America. All of these are scary because the points they're trying to make and the concepts that they like overhype or that they sensationalize are real things that are actually going on in our world. And a lot of the older ones, they're going on even more now. The government's Well, government surveillance has gotten way more in depth since 1984 was written back in the late 60s, which makes them even scarier. So what makes the Marvel evil big corporations, the TVA, American government, Sword, and the Widows, the Red Room, so scary? I believe it's the fact that these corporations are putting money, power, and weapons over everything else, specifically human lives. In WandaVision, S.H.I.E.L.D. fake cared about the citizens, but really only cared about getting Vision back. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it's the whole thing is an argument over whether America is worth saving despite its incredibly racist past and racist present. In Loki, we have the TVA that doesn't care about, like, even the deviants are technically life. Like, it's not life, it's just life that happened the way it wasn't supposed to, and they immediately eradicate it for the greater good, for the sacred timeline, caring about what they consider the right order of events above all else. And then in Black Widow, literally training and stealing thousands of girls and forcing them to go through training and literally chemically controlling them just so they could have power and hide in the shadows. Now, I just need to point out that it's very interesting that Marvel went that direction, that Disney went that direction, because technically, Disney is big business. Disney is a huge corporation, but instead, their movies are focusing how the government is bad because they want power and money and weapons, and shifting away from how big businesses and huge corporations tend to underpay anyone who works for them, only care about the people at the top, and greatly misrepresent the people they're supposed to be helping and bettering. So they can make fun of the government without jeopardizing their place within the government. The question after this really is, what's next? And I'm gonna be honest, guys, I really don't know. But it seems interesting that in the midst of all this crazy stuff going on, like we literally just traveled through time, we had a Titan destroy half of the universe, we put it back together, okay? We have Infinity Stones that are now meaningless. We have proof that, like, someone is governing how time is supposed to work. We have a character that can literally create an entire reality themselves. But what the focus is on is big corporations and governments being evil. Like, we've literally traveled through different dimensions, through space, through time. We're changing reality to fit our needs. But the focus, the core message is still governments are evil. Anyways, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea if Marvel is going to continue this government being evil theme in their future works, and how long they can really play this out. Especially given the fact that it seems right now that Marvel's really going the time travel multiverse route, especially with, you know, WandaVision and Loki, multiverse of madness. Like, when you're so clearly setting up a multi-dimensional, multi-universal fight, fly through time, it seems interesting that you're focusing so much on evil governments in the beginning, especially with Valentina and the formation of her little group, which I've heard some rumors that they're supposed to go up against the new Avengers. I think it'd be funny. If you've seen Black Widow, there's some stuff that may point to that being true, but I think that's mainly from the people who just really want Wanda's twins back. Anyways, thank you for listening to me rant about Marvel. I really miss talking about them. Wait a second! MODOK is like one of my last videos, and I just said that I didn't talk about Marvel, babe. Oh my, whatever, not important. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want, follow me everywhere. It's Sir Glenneth. Comment down below your opinions. What do you think Marvel's going through next? Do you think this evil government is going to stay through the timeline thing? I really don't know. They seem like two very different, contrasting types and like storylines they could go for, but they've been mixing them semi-well-ish, kinda. We'll see. Subscribe for more content, usually a little bit more on the thinking side, but Marvel had me thinking, so share this with any of your friends who are really having Marvel fever right now, because Marvel be happening, it be popping off right now. Like, thank you. Anyways, I think that's all I need, guys. Let's have some fun and smile, because I'll tell you in editing how well the brownies came out.